So in the next few minutes, I'm going to give you the highest leverage changes that I've seen after scaling nearly 400 agencies that I promise you, if you just implement these things, it can take 15 years into days, right, when applying these methods. And look, it's not going to be some like standard like work hard or try your best or anything like that. It's going to be things that, if changed, are the small adjustments, the small 1% adjustments that honestly can completely change the direction of your agency. So the first point is changing your intention. Now, what do I mean by that? There was a point when I was running the agency, the Done For You lead gen agency, where I honestly hated it, right? The thing that I really hated most was the client calls, because there was a point where results, they were good for most of the clients, but there were some that just really wasn't. It didn't feel like it was necessary having these calls. Honestly, I just didn't like it. And there were so many parts of the agency that just caused me so much stress, so much like anxiety. It's like, oh, is this client going to complain? Are they going to refund? Like what? Like there was just so much happening that just caused so much resistance to running the agency. Now, switching to now, honestly, I love it. I really do look forward to the client calls. I mean, if you're in the program, you'll see that the calls go nearly 2 hours sometimes, just because I honestly love the interactions. I love helping them. And I'm at the point where genuinely, I love running the business. And I'm not even just saying this as some like, oh, okay, he loves, like genuinely, I do mean that. But what happened in going from this point where I did not want to run it versus now where honestly, it's the most fulfilling thing that I could possibly do. And it's the intention. And when I say intention, I mean, why are you doing this thing? So an example of this is the same with sales calls. Similar to the client calls in the past, I really didn't like them. Now, what I changed and what I started doing before every call, when I learned this, was before every call, I sat down 5 minutes before, I took 6 to 10 deep breaths. Sounds so woo-woo, but I would just sit down, close my eyes and think, look, I'm not here to sell them. I'm not here to like try and like push and like Jordan Belfort, like close them on the spot, like coffee for closes, all this stuff. I was like, look, I'm going to try my best to deeply understand the situation, see how we can help. And then if we can help, I'll just share what we did for the other 300 clients that got them results. And look, if they want to do it, then that's amazing. I'll hold them accountable to making the change in their life, to getting better, to improving, but I'm not going to force them or like try and sneak them into a close. And as soon as I did that, I promise you, the difference is insane. Because I would get on those calls, I would feel so calm. There was no tension of like, okay, but are they going to think I'm like salesy or something like that? And it just makes you feel so bad. It was like, no, they see me on the call. I'm so relaxed. I'm smiling. I'm like, look, what's the biggest problem? Like, oh man, it's just signing clients. But honestly, like, I know this is like a sales call and I don't really want to be pitched on this one. So I promise you, I'm not buying on this call. No. Okay. Honestly, at this point, I don't even know if we can help you. But I think just tell me a bit more about the situation and I can see if it makes sense. Immediately, the prospect just like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do that then. And the whole situation changes. And by the end of the call, they're signing up, right? And this is what I mean by the intention, setting how you want to come across and the goal of this call. Same with client calls. If I, in the past, got into a call, I was feeling stressed, I was feeling rushed, and I just came on, it's like, okay, they're going to shout at me, this is going to be such a bad call, I'm going to hate this, oh, this client sucks. That's not the right intention. But if I go into the call, again, 5 minutes before, I'm thinking, okay, how can I provide the most possible value to this client? These are actual questions going through my mind. How can I help these clients more than they've ever been helped before? And then I get on the call, and what do you know? It's a helpful call. And then the clients love it. Then you get reinforced. They're like, Ethan, this was a fantastic call. I constantly get messages after the coaching calls, whether it's one-on-one calls, whether it's the group calls. They're like, Ethan, the call was amazing. Like, this was just so useful. I really appreciate these. And when you get messages like these from your clients, it's like, it's so easy to love the calls because all you did was change your intention. So what I recommend is that if you're ever in a situation where there's tension, there's anxiety, there's fear of clients, of team, of anything, change your intentions. Take the time, the 3 minutes before a call, to breathe deeply, to set the intentions, and the whole interaction will change. Now, the next point that will change your agency forever is delegation, right? And it sounds so like delegation. There was a point when I was running the agency, right? And I consider myself a high performer. It's like I will put the work in. I will work 24 hours a day if necessary, right? I will just not sleep if necessary. And I've done it many, many times before. But I would be finding myself procrastinating. on small things. It's like replying to an email, or like replying on LinkedIn, or like uploading a coaching call. It's like, these are such small things, such seemingly insignificant things, but I wasn't doing it. I was like, why? Like, I know I need to do this thing, but I'm not doing it. And then I realized, as I kept seeing this over and over, and I was getting to the point where it's like, I'm so tired, I'm doing this, I'm stressed, I'm honestly just overwhelmed. I realized that I was doing everything myself, right? I was trying to do it. I was trying to do this. I was trying to do this. And the shift that happened for me was, instead of thinking that I need to be the one to figure everything out and to do every task, I switched to thinking, okay, who else could do this? There's a really good phrase, it's the name of a book, honestly, you don't even need to read the book after hearing this, but it's called Who, Not How, right? You want to ask yourself the question of who else can do this thing, as opposed to me thinking, okay, how can I do it? So if there's ever a part of your business, and in many cases for entrepreneurs, it's like the admin things, the repetitive things, the time-consuming things, the things that just need to be done over and over to get the outcome. These are the things that repel us. And it's like, a lot of the time entrepreneurs is like, we want a new thing. Okay, what's the new project? What's the new thing? What's the new thing? And we just want to go to the next one over and over. But when it comes to like recurring admin, for me personally, it's like, oh, no, I cannot do that. So that's when you need to hire. That's a sign you need someone else on. So let's say all the admin, you make one hire, get an assistant, they take care of that. All you do is you focus on the next new thing. And as you just keep delegating every part of the business, you like the business more, because the people like the assistants, they like the admin, they like doing these tasks, they love putting attention to detail on this, and you love not doing that. And as a result, you guys just both get the synergy where it's like they love it, you love it, and the business is growing more. So the first thing I recommend is that as soon as you start getting cash flow in, start the delegation process, start hiring. I made other videos on the channel talking about, the order in which to hire, in which to build a business that can run without you. But really, as soon as possible, start getting these team members on. Now, the third one, very similar to the first point, is your state. So what determines how you feel throughout the day? What determines what you do throughout the day? Genuine question. A lot of people would be like, oh, if a client said something bad, then I'm gonna feel bad. Or if I had a bad morning, I'm gonna feel bad. Or if I had a good morning, then I'll have a good day. It's like that. Firstly, it's very reactive. It's like you're letting the world determine how you feel and how you live your life. But it's none of those things. It's your state. But in the moment, how are you feeling? If you feel depressed and you feel tired and you feel like, oh, nothing's working, this isn't really working anymore, are you really going to come up with great solutions? Are you really going to be resourceful? Are you really going to see the positive and be like, no, let's inspire the team, let's do this, we're going to make this happen. Even if we just lost all these clients, we're still going to do better, we're still the best. What determines whether you do that? It's how you feel. It's your physiology and your feelings in the moment, right? So you can imagine, it's like, if you think of someone who's depressed, right? They'll be like hunched over, they'll be like sad, they'll talk slow, and it's like, I don't know, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. Versus if you think of someone who's energetic, who's a leader, it's like, oh, we're going to do this. They're sitting up straight, they're confident, they're talking directly, they're concise, they're getting to the point. You can tell the difference. Who do you think is going to do better? Who do you think is going to close more deals? Who do you think the clients are going to appreciate more? Obviously the one who's in a good state. So this is something that I just want you to be aware of. Like, I didn't even know about this for the first 22 years of my life. So I just want you to start focusing on, okay, throughout the day, what state am I in, right? Even right now, are you hunched over on the phone? Are you just laying there? Are you up straight? Are you breathing deeply? What state are you in? And if you ever catch yourself in a bad state, get yourself out of it. And what's the easiest way to do that? It's just to change your physiology. Go for a walk, go for a run, even just sit up straight and breathe deeply. I promise you that will change everything. And by doing this, you will close more deals, you'll retain clients for longer, you'll lead your team better, you'll get more work done. There's no downside. So honestly, I would just make a habit of getting into the best state wherever possible. Now, the fourth thing that'll change your agency forever is your environment. So there was a point, one of the apartments that I lived in prior, you'll see in some of the YouTube videos as well, at that buzz cut stage, that apartment was like a dungeon, right? It was dark. There was no carpets on the floor. It was stone cold, and there was no natural light. And it honestly just felt horrible being in there. And I didn't even realize it at the time until one of my friends came in. They're like, why is it so dark? I'm like, the lights are on. So like, this still, do you just live like this? Like imagine your entire life on like 20% brightness. It's like that. That's what it was like. And if you clap, you just hear the echo and your nervous system is like dying inside. If that's your environment and you run a business, which is on the computer, remote, digital, that essentially is your business. Think about it. Like if the place that you work is horrible and you work on your computer in that place, that is your work. It's the equivalent of going into an office and the office being like a dungeon. So one of the easiest ways to even change how much you like your agency and how much you like your business is by changing the environment that you work in. It sounds so counterintuitive, but it's like, if you like the environment, you want to be there more. If you don't like the environment, you don't want to be there as much as possible. So I'm even finding it now moving into this new place here in Cape Town. It's like the beach is right outside. So if I ever have a sales call, if I ever have a team call, if there's ever like an open hour in the calendar that just, is there, I'll just go for a walk. Like I'll literally just walk downstairs and the beach is right there. And if it's super sunny all the time, not a single cloud, and you do that throughout the day multiple times per day, and the actual place you're in is well lit, the windows are open, the sun is coming in, like everything's happening, everything looks nice, it's like, you just want to do it. Like you just want to be there. The idea of like going on a vacation, yes, okay, seeing different things, that's great. But you're completely content, like, hey, I'll just get some work done, I'll just make money, like it's great. So what I'd recommend is if you're in a situation where you don't feel super compelled to work, one of the first things I would look at is I would just look at your current environment and I would ask, what parts of this environment do I not like? It could be the actual device you're working on, the actual computer, it could be the amount of light, it could be the smell of the place. I'm not sure what is happening there, but whatever it is, note what that is and just see how you can change it. You don't necessarily have to move immediately, but even just figuring out what that smell is and just getting that out of there, that could be good. And the final point to change your agency in your life forever is called full life integration. Now, what do I mean by this? There was a point, and I still catch myself getting to this point, of thinking that more work, constant work, never-ending work is the only and the best solution to growing the business. And I'm far from someone who's going to be like, no, you only need to work 2 hours a day, look after your mental health, and don't burn out. Like, not at all. But there is a point of diminishing returns. Like I was saying, when I was in that dungeon phase, right, where it was just horrible, I didn't do anything besides work, to the point where it was detrimental. And I was like, okay, Andrew Tate says work all the time, and all these billionaires that say work all the time, so I'm just not going to take any breaks and get no sunlight and see no people and eat bad food, but I'm going to work though, and I'm going to drink 12 coffees a day, but I'm going to work, so I'll be fine. It doesn't work, right? It's like I was saying, there's a point of diminishing returns. So what I got to the point or the conclusion of is that, yes, I aim to work as much as humanly possible. If I'm awake, there's a very good chance I'm working, but never at the detriment of the other things, or at least for a long-term period. So what I mean by this is, if you are working all day to the point where you're not working out, right? Or you're not even just going outside and going for a walk and getting sunlight, I feel like that is to the point where by you not doing that, by you not getting the stuff, by you not getting sun, you're actually less productive. And you're actually less appealing to everyone else. It's like, imagine a situation where you're on a sales call with a prospect. You just look like messy and tired and unhappy and miserable. It's like, are you really going to close more deals? Probably not. But if you come to the call, just having gone for a walk in the sun on the beach, you're feeling good, you're in great shape, you're happy, you'll most likely close more. You'll most likely lead the team better. The clients will most likely respect you and listen to you more. So what I would look at is, and this is a lesson that I learned, is that every essential thing should be maintained, or ideally growing, and then all the other hours of the day, I just focus on working. So these essentials for me is definitely just some sort of getting outside and working out, even if it's just a walk or multiple walks throughout the day, just your physiology. The next is the actual nutrition and intake. It's like, eat decent foods. Right? Obviously, I'm not an expert on this, but just don't be eating like Oreos for breakfast or like cigarettes for like 4 meals of the day, right? Just, you understand. Besides that, relationships, right? So either, with your partner, with your friends, just have regular interactions with people. I feel like I shouldn't be saying this, but if I was talking to my younger self, I would actually have needed that advice. Like, I would just not see anyone. Like, it sounds so crazy now, but it really is the case. So make sure you have these essential things, and I promise you, even just a small dose of it, like even just one walk every single morning outside, will do so much more for you than like an extra 30 minutes or an extra hour of work.